Is the anticipation killing you? Who's waiting? Is everyone waiting in the chat right
We
now?
got people waiting.
We got people in the wings
We got
waiting for it.
people waiting.
Falcon Winter Soldier time, baby.
Baby.
All right, give me a quick
Episode.
second. And boom, here we go. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to JBuck Studios. The microphone and the camera microphone is all up there. What is going on? Welcome to JBuck Studios. We're breaking down episode 5 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I am not in my studio. I am on vacation with my good friend, good buddy, co-worker, business partner.
And I'm dating his sister.
Yeah, there we go. Made by NPA. Nolan, what's going on, Nolan?
I'm doing all right, man. Just watched the latest episode.
Yes,
of Falcon and the
yes.
Winter Soldier. Thanks for having me on your stream. I know it's weird not being in your normal studio area, right? But I'm glad that we can still do this. I'm a musician. I got all the mics and stuff, so
Yeah.
we're doing it, man.
Yeah, I like the setup you got going
Yeah?
here and
You like those
everything.
headphones?
Yes, very very great.
It's
All that
hurting
stuff.
me inside though that you're not holding the mic unnecessarily.
Up here.
Yeah.
Yeah. But people, we're gonna be getting into obviously a little bit spoiler free, but then spoilers for sure. But let us know in the chat what you guys thought of this episode. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What stood out to you? Also, people, there is a post-credit scene, so if you didn't watch that, go back and watch it right now because it's going to definitely set up the next episode and potentially some characters moving forward and whatnot.
There's a mid-credit scene too.
Yes.
It's not the very end. It's right after like the pretty credits before the boring credits come in. Movies do.
So yeah, without further ado, I guess spoiler free. I thought this episode, the kind of relationships between Bucky and Falcon, or Bucky and Sam, were the best parts for myself. It was like I turned to you during the episode, and I was like, "This is what I wanted."
The buddy cop.
Through yes, the buddy. It was like it was. I mean, Falcon Winter Soldier. It's buddy.
Yeah.
And I haven't felt like we've gotten that yet. And this is what the first time I felt like that was the strongest thing for myself. Obviously, we'll get into spoilers in a little bit, but overall, I think that this was a mid-tier episode for myself, but the buddy aspect stood out to me the most. And the Flag Smashers were by far the worst again for myself. But what about you, Nolan?
I'm gonna disagree a little bit and say I think I think the episode is like a higher tier episode for me.
Okay.
And I might be biased on that just because so far I've been a huge fan of the show. Not that you're not, but just I haven't had that many problems with it. I agree with you that it's a very slow pace this episode. It really, like, the series has built a ton of momentum in the first 4 episodes, and this episode is taking a step back. It's really relaxing quite a bit and giving you more character moments, which is good and bad. Good because we love character moments. That's awesome, right? And seeing Bucky and Sam, as Falcon actually says, put the work in.
Yep.
Bucky and Sam put the work in to becoming friends in this episode, and that's awesome, man. I've been living for that.
Yeah.
But slowing down the action kind of feels it felt a little bit like okay, I gotta, we're still quite a bit of episode left here. Let's see something. But even with all of that, because of the commentary on the real world that this show is making and on the character moments that we got in the episode, I thought this was a pretty strong episode overall.
Yeah. I mean, right when you were talking halfway, or while you're talking, I'm thinking, oh yeah, we got a little bit of this, we got a little bit of that, and everything like that. So there.
Well, and one of the best action sequences that we've gotten in the whole series is that opening fight.
Yes.
That was really cool. We'll talk about that more.
Let us know what you thought.
Yeah,
spoiler. But now let's get into the spoilers because you teed it up. You teed it up perfectly. I mean, it's the very beginning of the episode is obviously, what we saw at the last episode with John Walker, U.S. agent, doing some dirty work, bloodied up the shield essentially, kind of on the run, and then Bucky and Sam track him down. And that warehouse scene, like, that was a great start to this episode for the action. I mean, I really 2-on-1, man. Super soldier versus a metal armed super soldier, and then a dude with wings.
And I think we both had the same thought. I had it almost immediately. I'm not sure about you, but Bucky is the Winter Soldier, and so I'm not totally convinced that John Walker could take him in a hand-to-hand fight, and he did. Like, he really gave Bucky a run for his money for a lot of that fight, and it took Bucky and Sam coming together to beat him. and like that's thematically awesome. Thematically that speaks to the relationship they're building. It's excellent. But just based on what we've seen so far, and because these, all the movies are interconnected and everything, and TV shows now, I wasn't totally sold on John Walker really beating Bucky in hand to hand.
Well, and then like through that fight, everything, the 2-on-1, they break his arm, they get the shield away from him, and everything like that. It does seem like he would have easily taken Sam. And the thing is, we see that where he rips his wings off.
Yeah.
He can't use them anymore.
Yeah.
But then him going with the shield once again, going for the head and essentially wanting blood.
He was gonna kill Sam.
Yeah, he was gonna mess him up. He was gonna mess him up.
Yeah.
So like that opening thing was, I thought it was a great start to the episode for sure. But again, as we go through the episode, things fell apart for myself.
Yeah.
Moving on, I guess from that, unless you have more to say about that, I guess.
I'm sure we'll talk about this in a little bit, but the symbolism that this show is portraying onto the real world, specifically with race issues, it's not lost on me that John Walker was over Sam. Right, a black man.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Saying, I'm Captain America, and then was about to murder him. I mean, that is to me. I know I guess I don't know how often you talk about the race issue on the channel.
Usually during my reactions, I don't.
Right. Yeah.
But it's apparent, obviously.
But it is apparent, and that's the thing. Like, I've seen you on TikTok, and it was if for anyone who doesn't know, Jared was on a live stream with a really cool TikTok creator called Straw Hat Goofy. Very awesome. And you guys were talking about that for quite a while. And I mean, it is important to talk about it absolutely is about race issues. And I mean, that was a really big part of this episode for sure. You can't even like deny that now. But the symbolism in that, and especially leading up to him speaking later with Isaiah Bradley, which we'll talk about, was really, really, really great for me. I was like, wow, that's what the whole message of the show is about. And we're seeing it without being told it. And then later we also get told it.
Yes. Just to hammer it home a little bit, because it was kind of like, hey, maybe you didn't pick it up there.
Yeah.
We're going to, let you know here.
Like, it's no accident that he went for the kill shot with Sam before he went for the kill shot with Bucky. Like, he messed Bucky up, but he didn't.
Oh, yeah. And like we didn't even talk about his electrical, his arm got all messed up. And
it didn't really have any consequence, really.
No, which
he just kind of bounced back from that, and that's weird.
Yeah, that's the funny thing is there's certain things in this show that kind of like it happens or they show it and then it just kind of is like glossed over and then they just go.
Things had to be recut.
Yeah. So then moving on, I guess you might have to fill in a little bit of the blanks because I'm a little hazy, I guess. Okay, they get the shield, they move on, and is this when Sam goes to talk to Isaiah, or am I skipping way far ahead?
I feel like we're skipping.
The Flag Smashers go to that town square and they don't do anything.
I can't remember anything.
I mean, to be honest, the Flag Smashers are so underdeveloped, and you can tell that through reshoots, rewrites, something, they are not fully being realized. Because honestly, I just want to talk about them rather than kind of going in chronological order, because we're raw on them right now. They go in that town square that they were talking about. They're like, oh, everyone's gone. Where'd everyone go? Oh, we need to get revenge. And then they're not in about 40 minutes.
Later.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a long episode.
Yeah, it's what, 61 minutes.
Yeah.
61 minutes. But then
that's a long time to they're on screen for maybe 10 minutes. Exactly. That's probably being way too generous.
Well, and that's the thing.
They're the main villain.
Because they have that one scene and then nothing. Then it's them meeting with the Bartrock, the jumper, I believe, at the end, getting weapons. Who Sharon Carter set up this dude, like called him. He's like, hey, dude, I got another job for you. Yeah. Sharon Carter, power broker. Sharon, right here. You heard it here. Sharon Carter, power broker.
Has to be. That goes with that reaction like 21. Just when you thought it couldn't get crazier, it did.
It did. Yeah.
Sharon is the power broker. But no, talking about the Flag Smashers, you're absolutely right. I really do think that Carly and her team are victims of like recuts, reshoots, re-edits, whatever it might be. Clearly, the story they're telling, while I'm enjoying it, and I think most people are, it's not the story they were originally going to tell. And that's evident through any scene with the Flag Smashers in particular. That, the vaccine plot line from the first episode, or first or second episode. I can't.
Yeah.
Second, right?
Second one.
Dropped.
Mhm.
Why did they need
Well,
vaccines? What were they for?
okay. Before the very end of this episode, we had no clue what their objective
We
was.
finally got
And
it.
it was they need to go to the
And stop the
GRC
GRC
to
from
stop them from a
voting on-
vote to move refugees.
Right.
That was the
Right.
first time in this
5 episodes of a
series
6
that they
episode series.
finally
Yeah.
mentioned this.
We finally know what they're after. We never knew that
Mhm.
before. That's
No.
crazy, right?
And it was rushed because it was
Yeah.
revealed, and then the next scene they are at the vote. And
They're already
again,
there. The timing of it was weird because they you have Torres coming on to
Yep.
talk to Sam, and he's like, "Hey Sam, we got a ping in New York," and then the very next scene they're already in New York.
Yep.
So I thought Sam was gonna go there to get the drop on them in the next episode. Like something I think that did hurt the episode was that there wasn't an action piece at the end of it. I turned to Jared about 45 minutes in. I was like, oh, there's 15 minutes left. I think they're gonna move to an action piece now and just cap it off. No, they actually spent the next 15 minutes setting up episode 6, which I think is gonna be all action. So episode 6,
mhm,
from an action and fighting standpoint, is probably gonna be freaking awesome.
yeah,
The only weird part of that is that they're gonna have to have Bucky tie up his plot line with the I can't think of his name, the Asian man whose son he killed or grandson.
I can't remember the last name.
Right. That's gonna be like a soft, like slow moment. That's probably how the episode's gonna open, and then the whole end of it's gonna be a fight. But no, you're absolutely right. They are rushed. They
Yeah.
are underdeveloped. It's just very obvious they had so much that was cut. I mean, in episode, I think it was 3 or maybe 3. Carly is talking and Mama Danya is dying, and like there's voices off screen that are talking about stuff, and you're like, who is even saying this right now? You never even see the actor because they literally don't have the shot. It was dubbed in.
Mhm.
And then even the scientist who made the serum, you can hear there's an audible difference when they like dub his voice in. They change lines after the fact, and I'm shocked that Marvel put it out. You can hear it so easily.
It's
I know
different
a
sound
video,
balancing
yeah.
and stuff.
Like I don't really care about these things, but it's just curious to think about like, oh, what was going on? Like what was the original plot line of the show? Why and how did they cut it? You know, that's really. It's not like I think it makes the show worse, but it definitely leaves the Flag Smashers underdeveloped and underutilized.
Yeah.
For sure.
Couldn't have said it better myself. But then kind of going back in the episode, I want to talk about I want to save Sam and Bucky for last. Let's talk about John Walker. So
John
obviously
Walker.
we talked about the opening with the fight, and he lost the shield, he broke his arm. He is a disfranchised US soldier.
Yeah.
He is in this meeting in
So
front
much
of
commentary.
the military leaders and
Yeah.
stuff. Like, tell me what your thoughts were on that, because like you said, you just said commentary. There is
Yeah.
a lot of
So
symbolism
much
and
commentary.
and how it relates to real life.
Yeah. Man, I really praise all around praise to Wyatt Russell.
Wyatt Russell, yep.
I know his name. I just blanked.
Mr. Russell, please.
Absolute praise to Wyatt Russell. He has done a phenomenal job of
Mhm.
portraying John Walker, not only as an intimidating villain, because I think he's the real villain of the series. You know, clearly he's the moral villain here. But he's an empathetic character. I can understand him. I understand where he's coming from. He reminds me a little bit of Killmonger in that regard. Like, I get it, man. I understand. Now, their motives aren't the same, and I'm not going to imply that they are, but I understand who he is.
Hey,
why
can you
he's
come up on the
doing-
mic a little bit?
Can I come up? Can I? I can try. Give it here. Why don't we get your thoughts? I'm gonna try to fix my mic.
Yeah. So John Walker obviously is he's falling apart right there, because like they're saying, we're gonna take all of your honors away. You're getting no paid leave. You're getting no benefits. You're getting honorably discharged. You're no longer Captain America and everything like that. So him essentially having this thing that throughout the show we've seen him rise up, get the shield, get this Captain America name, and then just kind of now he's at where he's at, and it's very reminiscent of like real life. You again, I am not a military guy or anything like that, but I think that what heard, I guess, or seen, whatever. You go in, you have this job, you have this task and whatnot, and then if something doesn't go by the way it's supposed to, or vice versa, then it's, on you. And it's like, no, 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 we're not taking the blame. Even though he's like, you made me. I belong to you and everything like that. So it was interesting to kind of see that. And then he's pissed.
Oh, yeah.
He's pissed.
Hey, Reaction Life, let me know if that level's better for you. I think I hear myself probably louder than it might come through. Yeah, so just let me know if that's cool in the chat. That's great. Thanks for letting me know. No, everything you said is absolutely right. And I come from a military family. I've got 3 brothers who are in, one's retired, and I got 2 that are active military.
Mm-hmm.
And that's absolutely how they feel sometimes. Their country built them. That's what John Walker said. Their country built them, right? They built soldiers. They told their soldiers what to do and how to do it. And then, like you said, if anything goes wrong, if anything doesn't go by the book, the soldiers bear the weight of that blame. They bear the responsibility. So again, that's what makes John Walker an empathetic character, because you can relate to him in a lot of ways. He's not one-dimensional at all. He's very layered, very deep in that regard. To that regard, I empathize with him. But also, in the last episode, in the beginning of this one, he murdered a dude.
Yeah.
Straight up murdered a dude, and that's not okay. You can't justify it. And I even in the military chambers, it seemed like they were all kind of okay with what he did, but they were just doing it for optics. And they actually mentioned optics later in the episode.
Yep.
And I don't think that's an accident. It was in a different capacity, but it is. It was just for optics. It's all political. And I think even in the very first episode or second episode, what was even the first episode? It was in the second episode that John Walker's talking to Lamar about it's a lot of handshaking, a lot of political kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And Lamar's like, yeah, man, that's what the job is.
Yeah.
It's all these kind of imaging, how things are shown. That's what John Walker's struggling with being Captain America. And he's absolutely just a dude who was thrust into a position, maybe not thrust, but put into a position that he was just not prepared to handle. He is not Captain America. He just isn't.
But he says he is Captain America.
Yeah, so you have that regard of him. He's a soldier,
Mm-hmm.
doing what he's told. And now he feels let down by his country. And that end credit scene, man, nothing will get me geared up more for a fight than watching the villain who had his iconic look or armor or whatever taken away from him, recreate it himself. That's pretty cool. And also a really cool parallel to Iron Man, because it was a black screen. It starts with a hammer.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, that's Iron Man. That's
yeah.
That's
let's just talk about that right now. It was a very brief mid-credits, end-credits scene or whatever, where we're getting Wyatt Russell, John Walker, essentially going to go and get his revenge. He's making his own shield, essentially, out of metal and stuff. But not only that, he's using the medals and memorabilia or honors medals and whatnot that he got in the military to put on the shield. So I'm curious on what that's going to look like. And I think, there was a promo that came out recently. I think that the shield has already been revealed in that, really? Unfortunately. Yeah, don't stay away from it if you've seen it. So yeah, there's it's now that you say that, the whole Iron Man parallel is very interesting right there with the hammer and everything. But I don't know. I'm curious on what this kind of regular metal shield, how that's going to hold up with everything.
Well, and you think about it, Iron Man and Captain America have always kind of been at odds in some regard, right? And now that Sam, by all intents and purposes, is Captain America, you have someone paralleling Iron Man by building something in a dark cave. Right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That is some fucking, sorry, I don't know if I can cuss. That is some next level symbolism from Marvel, I think. The other aspect of John Walker's character, the one that's not empathetic, right, is that he, as a character, represents race issues in the United States. I don't think the character of John Walker, and there's a lot of discourse about this on the internet, so we don't have to talk about it too much because a lot of people have talked about it, but I don't think the character of John Walker is racist. I don't think he's a racist dude just out there to hurt black people or whatever. That's not who he is. He's more representative of
He's an embodiment.
Yeah, he's an embodiment, really, of white privilege. I
Mm-hmm.
think, especially with Lamar. You know, Lamar, as far as we are aware, Lamar has been through all the same stuff that John Walker's been through, and yet John Walker is Captain America, not Lamar. You know what I mean? And this episode really hit that home with Isaiah straight up saying there will never be a black Captain America, and no self-respecting black man would ever be Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
That's the more important line, because I think we can draw that, like, the show is trying to tell us, yeah, black people and Captain America don't really mix. I mean, Sam already felt this way that's why he gave up the shield, right?
Well, I think it was, I mean, implied maybe, but I think it was a thing that he just felt like he didn't deserve it. He wasn't built up.
But why do you think he thought that?
I mean, he had Steve Rogers, he had Captain America. He looked at this symbol and he just didn't feel like he lived up to that.
And why is that, Jared?
Because I don't know. I just felt like he didn't deserve it. I just one of those things where it's like, oh well, maybe I'm not as
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it could be that Sam just thought that he wasn't worthy for whatever reason.
Yeah.
You know, to me, it seems like they're trying to tell us that Sam has kind of always had this thought process of, oh well, I'm not Captain America because, you know, I'm a black man in America.
Mm-hmm.
I can't be Captain America. That's not who Captain America is, right? I think that's intrinsically tied together with the way these characters view who Captain America is. And I mean, Marvel, I could be way off base. I could be reading too much into it, because Marvel has not really touched on a lot of political issues really until, like, Black Panther. They haven't really gone deep into real world issues. Not really, right?
Mm-hmm.
This show, I think, is the most overt, obvious attempt at that, and I think they're doing a pretty good job of it. But you know, whether it was Sam in his own mind saying, I don't think I'm worthy because, like, I knew Steve and I'm not as good as a person as Steve, or whatever it might be, that's how Isaiah feels, you know, and Isaiah tells us that much. And watching John Walker, who's clearly not worthy of the shield, carry the shield and yell in Sam's face that I am Captain America as he's about to kill Sam, yeah, I think that character is meant to be an embodiment of white privilege and the things that a lot of black people do experience in this country today in the real world. And I think that's really brave. I don't know if brave is the right word. Bold, at least, of Marvel to take on and kind of confront the narrative that way. I think it's cool.
I think it's a thing that they're slowly, I mean, with WandaVision, it was PTSD and kind of depression and grief and whatnot. And then this one, they're taking real life aspects that people deal with every single day and bringing them into these shows and whatnot. Moving on, I think Bucky, Sam, how did you think that they played throughout this episode and whatnot? Because from the very beginning where, you know, Bucky does save Sam's life, he kind of feels like it's a burden on him almost. Yeah. And then as the episode kind of continues, I felt like this was finally a time of having like a buddy type show, a buddy, you know, cop show of them hanging out and doing things like them on the boat and whatnot, kind of fixing up the boat, Bucky kind of maybe hitting on Sam's sister and stuff, dude, which I thought that was cool. I thought that gave it a nice touch, a nice kind of flavor, a bit of personality into the show, honestly. Did you grasp onto anything really of their relationship, kind of their points of this show or this episode without the total series? Because personally, I thought that this was the best of those two together.
Yes, I agree with that very much. I think that, to use a line that Sam uses, he says, you know, do the work. And I think that they showed Bucky and Sam doing the work to actually become friends. I think it would have been really, really easy for them to just be like, oh, and they're friends now because they went and fought all these people together and now they're friends. But no, they weren't. And it was very obvious at the end of the opening scene, right? Bucky and Sam are like, they won't even speak to each other. Bucky's really angry. He just throws the shield down and walks out. They spend like the whole rest of the episode working on their relationship together. And again, I mean, that adds to the pacing issue. It really draws down the action and slows things down a lot. But it gives you great character moments. And I mean, just having having Bucky flirt with Sarah, it humanizes him even more.
Yep.
And I mean, he needs that because he was the Winter Soldier for a long time. He's just a killing machine. You need him to be shown as a very human person now, who is not, I guess, afflicted by that anymore. Or, you know, he's tortured by it, but he's not the Winter Soldier. He's a real person with thoughts and feelings. Crazy, I know. But yeah, you know, he's been given more opportunity to emote, to express, to be a person, and that's great. That's really great to see. That, and also Sam, you know, I guess being humble enough to accept help, you know, because he goes back to see Sarah, and he's talking about how his parents were helping everyone in the neighborhood. They were just good people, and I think that's it's calling out to, you know, Sam's obviously a good person, and that's why he's deserving to be Captain America. He's not a perfect soldier, but a good man, right? And now we see, like, oh, well, his parents were also good people, and maybe is where he learned that kind of empathy for others and wanting to help, maybe. But more importantly, he says, oh, well, maybe it's time to call in some of those favors because he wants to help Sarah fix the boat. And so that's what a lot of the episode becomes about. They fix the boat, and of course Bucky comes through to help and uses his super soldier serum and his metal arm. I did really like that line. He's like, why didn't you just use the metal arm when the pipe is leaking? He's like,
I'm right-handed. I'm right-handed.
I don't always think about it.
Yeah, which that subtle humor coming from him not only is fun for the show, but also humanizes him as a character. But then also one thing that I completely forgot to talk about, but Sam actually training with the Shield was an interesting thing to see, because it's like, hey, he's not gonna know what the hell he's doing. You can't just, hey, here's the shield. Oh, all of my skills just bumped up, and I know how to throw it.
Level up.
So, like, did you like seeing that of him? You know, again, the term that you've been to put the work in? Is that what you've been saying? Yeah. Like, did you think that reflected that?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, there's so many movies, and I think a lot of people would point to the recent Star Wars trilogy that Disney made, that you just don't see enough in that trilogy of the characters, like training, practicing, working, whatever it might be. I don't know how valid those arguments are. We're not talking about Star Wars right now, but that's something that comes up a lot, right? This show has gone to pretty great lengths now to show you Sam Wilson, a normal man. He's not a super soldier, right? Training, practicing being Captain America, throwing the shield around, working on those skills. Because, I mean, he gave up the wings. After John Walker ripped them off of him.
Yeah.
He said, I'm done with that. He's decided now that he's going to be Captain America, and he's practicing with that shield. That's awesome to see. I think the runtime of this episode is a little too beefy for me. Again, we were talking about pacing problems. But holy crap, just seeing him work on it and seeing him want it so bad and practice and earn this. Because I think for the audience, we think that he could be Captain America. That's not the issue. He has to earn it for himself.
Yeah, and see, that goes back to the very beginning of you being like, well, why did you were doubting me of why he gave up shield, and that's how I felt, is him not feeling like he's enough, essentially. Which
there's more reasons than
and I totally agree with that. But I think that that's one of the biggest ones of, you know, anyone and everyone that is maybe given an honor, a privilege, I don't know, a title, I guess, and they maybe don't feel up to it or whatever. So I want to talk about the cameo or whatever that people,
whatever you want to,
the big cameo.
Is after this episode.
So apparently, I don't know, everyone's blown cameo, like theories, everything out there. People are always, oh, Storm's gonna show up, Justin Hammer.
Can we quickly talk about Justin Hammer?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. I do want to. Rational 21 says, "Don't get your hopes up on wings." And I'm wondering, do you have more to that comment? I'm curious what you have. Do you think Sam will get his wings back? Do you think he's gonna go back?
Well, we'll talk about that in a bit.
Sounds good. But before that, Justin Hammer, you had this theory that you posted on TikTok that Justin Hammer was the power broker. And I have to say, as far-fetched as that might be, just for casting reasons and whatever else, right? That's a really cool idea.
Yeah, bring him back, man.
Bring him back.
I think that they had said if I remember the quote, they said that he would be in jail, or no, it would take 10 years for him to get where Stark was. It's been about 10 years,
10 years.
and he is someone that would definitely be fallen into that world and everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
they can't hear me apparently, or
You
the left guy. I don't know which guy. Let us know. Is it me or him?
White shirt or black shirt?
Yeah.
I've been talking a lot, so I hope they can hear me.
Yeah, I don't know.
Otherwise, I'm gonna have to share that much.
Yeah.
Reaction light. He said he doesn't want to spoiler it. Reading, accidental typos.
Anyway, Justin Hammer.
Justin Hammer. Yeah, we need Sam Rockwell as a great actor. We need him back because you're right. They said about 10 years, and he'll have Iron Man's tech. It's been about 10 years. Also, white shirt. Well, you heard me ask if it was white shirt or black shirt. You hear me a little. I'll try to turn up more. I don't know how.
I'm wondering if it's too high.
Oh yeah, is my voice distorting? Is it sounding bad, or am I too quiet? That's the real question.
Yeah. So anyway, while he is figuring that out, I'm gonna say, yeah, Justin Hammer. I think that he was someone that would fit into Madripoor, fit into all of that stuff and everything like that. So I think he is someone that people need to bring. Do you want to hear it?
Yes.
Yeah. Sure.
Yes, I do.
Sure. Let us know.
Yes.
Let us know. Justin Hammer, cool guy.
Cool guy.
Yeah.
That, and in your theory, you had posted, you had mentioned that if during the blip, if Hammer was still around, that he would obviously take advantage of that. He could have escaped from prison. He could have done any number of things to come back and become the power broker. And like when I first heard it, I was like, I don't know if he's really like the commanding authority type who could like take control of Madripoor and like be that person. But then I thought about like he worked with Ivan Vanko pretty decently until Vanko like betrayed him. But I mean, he could have learned from that.
Mm-hmm.
He's like deviously intimidating. He wins you with his charm, and then he's like, actually, here's my real motive though. Here's my real motivation. Very cool character, and I want him back.
Bring him back, people. Who else wants Justin Hammer to come back? Let us know.
F in the chat.
Yeah, yeah.
Justin Hammer.
But the cameo in this episode ended up being kind of a quick, like 5-minute scene essentially, and it was Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who again, award-winning actress, and she popped up in this role, and she is Val, who is Valentina Allegra de Fontaine.
Yes.
Yeah, and basically, I don't know anything about this character. I had to look it up. I'm looking it up right now. And basically, she's part of S.H.I.E.L.D., she's part of Hydra. She has dealings with Nick Fury. She apparently in the comics dated Nick Fury for a while. But her approaching John Walker, I think, says something where I think that it's potentially a thing with Hydra still.
Yeah,
and
so.
Twisting his mind a little bit and being like, hey, we could use you, bud. Like, we want you on our team. We want to maybe, you're super soldier. We have openings. Come hang out with us. What did you think of this cameo? Did you like it? Did you hate it? I mean, personally, I like her from Seinfeld and everything. I haven't seen Veep, but I heard that she does a great job in that as well. But I don't know.
If you're confused like me, she played Elaine in Seinfeld.
Mm-hmm.
I know her, but from where? I thought that was pretty cool. I thought it was weird to call it a cameo. Because I mean, it's just like a new actor appearing in the show. I don't know what a cameo is. I guess if that's a cameo. Anyway, that doesn't really matter. I think it lends more parallelism to Iron Man. If you remember in Civil War, you have a woman approach Iron Man in a hallway and have this really deep heart-to-heart that just totally changes his worldview, right? When she talks about how you crushed my son in Sokovia, you killed my son, and that sets the events in motion in Age of Ultron. Now you have this almost anti-Cap character who was a parallel to Iron Man in some regard. A woman approaches him in a hallway and changes his worldview again.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that's just really cool storytelling to me. And yeah, I mean, they're definitely setting her up to be someone important.
My eyes are killing me, by the way.
Do you rub jalapenos in them again?
Yes, probably. Oh my gosh. You keep talking.
Yeah, I mean, they're setting her up to be someone influential and powerful. You know, I don't think she's the power broker. We can talk about that in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But she is powerful. And I did hear rumors that she is going to be an important role in the new Thor movie, Thor: Love and Thunder.
Oh, really?
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about that?
The cameo of Val?
Yeah.
Or well, I think that they said that they would love the creator or whatever would love to see her alongside him, which again,
Oh, is that what it
that
was?
doesn't make any sense
Yeah,
to me
I'm
as
still
well.
confused about it.
Yeah. So
Was Chris Hemsworth in Seinfeld?
yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. No, I don't. Again, these theories, these rumors, these speculations from showrunners and people that worked on it and stuff are always a little skewed in my mind and whatnot.
Yeah. We did get an answer from Reaction Live 21 here. He says, in the case, it's Falcon's wings, and Sam becomes Captain America and Falcon. Somebody leaked the toy. It is Captain American colors with Falcon wings. So is it Sam he'll be Captain America and have wings? Is that maybe his extra? Maybe that's what's in the box. We have to talk about what's in the box.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Well,
in the
yeah,
case,
could
that's
be.
what he said. In the case, so I mean, let's
Wait, he did say
let's
that.
just talk about that. So in this episode, Bucky shows up and gives Sam a case from Wakanda. We never
What's in
see.
the
Yeah,
box?
what's in the box? We don't get to see it because at the very end of the episode, done. He opens up, looks at it, he's like, "Ah!" And then that's the end of the episode. So I think that that's going to be the big woo in the last episode. So obviously, do you think it's the wings? I mean, Reaction Life is saying it's a leak. I'm assuming it's probably vibranium wings of some sort.
Yeah, that makes sense. I had thought when we were watching the episode, I talked to Jared. I said, I think it's a Captain America suit that's made of vibranium, because Sam's gonna have to account for the fact that he doesn't have super soldier serum. I mean, Sam with the wings, he's still really vulnerable out there in the battlefield, but he's got the wings and they protect him quite a bit. If he doesn't have wings, he's gonna need something. And who better to make something powerful than the Wakandans making a vibranium suit, like akin to the Black Panther suit, right? But yeah, I mean, they could have made him some vibranium wings, and I mean that could be worked into the Captain America suit. That'd be freaking cool. I'm down as hell. I am curious what they'll do with Torres's character and if he's going to become Falcon as well, the next Falcon, and maybe this Captain America will just also have wings.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking too, is like, especially with that scene of him leaving the broken wings, he's like, you keep these. That kind of teases, maybe hints, maybe people, oh, he's going to come into the fold that way. But yeah, I think in the box, it's definitely going to be some sort of,
It's a suit.
It's a Wakandan tech suit of some sort, which I think is going to probably be the huge, again, reveal or whatever for this final episode. Before we wrap this up and give final thoughts and everything like that, Zemo. Did you like how he kind of ended up and whatnot with the character? Kind of a cliffhanger, essentially.
Yeah. I'm really conflicted about Zemo because the show wants me to like him to the point where he can deliver opinions and I am supposed to regard his opinions as fact or the themes of the show, right? Specifically, when he says that anyone who takes the super soldier serum is on the path to supremacy. Something I've always noticed in shows is sometimes the villain will deliver some kind of philosophy or some kind of like thought process, and the movie is trying to tell me no, they're wrong. They're delivering the thought process so that you, as the audience, know which is wrong, right? I don't know if they're trying to do that with this show. It feels like they did a lot of work to make him seem like a good guy, but also he's still a really like bad dude, you know. So I'm a little conflicted on him.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way where, yeah, they did a wonderful job of making us love him, which I don't think they were supposed to, but also where he ends up getting essentially captured by the Wakandans there at the Dora Milaje at the very end. I mean, it spoke something. When Bucky pulled that trigger,
he was disappointed
because he did not want to be captured. He wanted to go out.
That and I just thought of this now. I think he might have been disappointed too because Bucky is a super soldier, and he's disappointed to see a super soldier subvert his expectation because Zemo would just assume any super soldier was out to kill him. but it's possible that when the trigger just clicked and the gun didn't go off, that he's like, man, I was wrong about that. I thought he was gonna kill
You
him.
thought it, you, yeah,
I
you
think
thought
it's
it.
both. I think it might be both. That I think he really is disappointed that he didn't die. I think he wanted to, and also I think that he was disappointed that he was wrong about who Bucky was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because earlier he had said only Sam was the exception to that rule about the supremacy thing, right? But also Bucky is for a different reason. But Bucky's also the exception to that rule, you know, and I think that's really important. You got some love in the comments there. You're the man, JBuck.
Hey, thank you so much, Da Hobbit. Thank you so much for jumping in here and hanging out with us. JBuck, your co-host microphone is mad low. What the heck? Why is it mad low? Here, let's just we'll both talk. I don't know why it's been doing that. That's weird.
That is weird.
Anyways, end of the episode, wrap up, whatever, like that.
I feel like we're gonna make out now.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. People, this is our OnlyFans right now.
Subscribe for 69 cents a month.
I thought, again, I'm still on the mid-tier of, like, this was a fine episode, some cool things, some bad things. Again, the buddy cop aspects were the things that really stood out to me. Some interesting kind of threads to maybe lead us into Black Panther 2 and a few other characters, you know, out there. But also the Flag Smashers are just for myself.
Yeah.
What about you?
We should mention quickly Black Panther 2. In the chat, they mentioned that as well. Zemo, it would seem that he's going to be a part of Black Panther 2. Now he's being taken prisoner in Wakanda, so that seems pretty likely. And also, who was the cameo? It was Elaine from Seinfeld was the cameo.
It was Val, a.k.a.
Fontaine. What is her name there?
It was Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. So, yeah.
Pretty
not a great cameo.
Not someone that I know, not a character I'm aware of, unless there was another cameo that I completely missed.
I missed a scene then.
Yeah,
that was it.
Elaine from Seinfeld, that's who it was.
Yeah.
What we were talking about before that.
What did you think of the episode overall?
Well, Black Panther 2.
Oh, yeah. With Zemo.
I think he's going to be in it or in some capacity. Maybe not a huge role, but I think he's going to be there. More importantly, I think Bucky is no longer allowed he's no longer welcome in Wakanda. I think that's a really big deal. You know, the place that healed him, the place that made him a man again and brought him back from the dark, he's no longer welcome there. And then later in that episode, he says, or was it before? I think it was, it doesn't matter. He says that the shield is all he has left of a family. And I think maybe even the Wakanda thing is playing into that. You know, maybe he'll never will be White Wolf.
I don't know.
Maybe not truly. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? I guess we will see, I guess. But that is our thoughts on episode 5 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Some cool things, some bad things. Hopefully you guys liked our kind of recap on our thoughts of this episode and series overall. Thank you. And also, if you guys have any other theories or ideas or where you think episode 6 is going to go, let us know in the comments down below. Nolan, thank you so much for jumping on here and having more of a conversation than me just talking at a screen. Where can people find you? Do you have anything? What's going on? Let the people know.
I have clinical depression.
There you go. Great.
Yeah, I'm a recording artist. You can find me on Spotify. I have a song out called Pass the Time by NPA. Just the letters, NPA. He's trying to tell me to do something, but I don't know what he's saying. Other than that, you know, if you haven't, make sure you tell a friend about Jared's TikTok.
Yeah, follow me on TikTok.
TikTok is he does a lot of stuff there. Jared's a cool dude, and obviously everyone in the chat at 3:37 in the morning Central Time is gonna know that Jared's a cool dude. That's why you're here. So yeah, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for having me on this.
Yeah,
man.
absolutely, man.
Hope you guys could hear me.
Again, more of a conversation, and hopefully, I have a bad feeling that this mic is the only one that is turned on for some odd reason.
It's like on. I hear it in here.
I can overhear it.
Yeah, it's really loud, isn't it?
Yes.
But it's not coming through. So
anyways, though, thank you everyone for stopping by. Obviously, comment down below, follow all of the, subscribe, all that stuff to all of my good stuff, especially TikTok. I'm doing some fun things over there. But without further ado, it is late, it is early, whatever time zone you are in. I need to get out of here, so we will see you guys next time.
Peace.